upcoming UASU election, the coming. But before I go deep into that, we need to understand what is the role of organizing secretary? What is constitutionally provided for? So, in the Constitution, Article 20, Chapter Secretary, in charge of mobilization of members for activities and events. That is what is provided in the Constitution of UASU that was enacted in 1993 and revised thereafter. So, organizing secretary basically is the engine of the union, charged with the following responsibilities. One, logistics and organization of events. If we have AGM, if we have SGM, like we are going for this SGM, Special General Meetings, if we are organizing things like town hall meetings, the logistics of that lies in the hands of organizing secretary. Recruitment of new members. That is to mean that almost every month or so, there are interviews happening in the boardroom. New members are getting jobs. The first pay slip that comes, they get a 2% deduction. So who goes to these members of academic staff who are newly recruited to tell them that, okay, we have a union, your money goes there. Your money is responsible for this. These are your labor relations, benefits. Who protects you in terms of labor prejudices? Is the organizing center that reaches out to these people. Members mobilization. Should we have an event like industrial action? Is the work of that members need education on union matters. What is going on in the union? Who reaches out to these people? It's not that we expect things from the chapter secretary. He delivers as a spokesperson, but whoever goes door to door to explain to people is that organizing secretary. So that is what job we have. Now, let's bring this into context with what we have at the moment. The challenges we have in Technical University of Kenya facing members of academic staff. So, we have issues with pension. Our senior members of academic staff worry so much about this, and it's a reality. It's a big, big problem that there are no remittances, yet deductions are made. There are no investments of that from the employer contributing or sending the deduction and their share. We have problems with payment of FTACs and actually the workload. That's another problem. Healthcare has been mentioned several times, okay? And so many others. Gratuity is an issue. So I want us to tie all these problems to this job description. The mobilization of members, recruitment of members, civic education of members. How can we bring this to reality into whoever is going to hold this office? And that is why I'm coming in as a team player, okay? My boss is here, I know he can attest to that at some point, not here though. We need somebody who is self-driven, okay? Somebody who knows what is at hand to be done, okay? I know my colleague here might be saying that, but there are occasions we have evidences. We need somebody like that. So Joab Otieno Nyango, comes in to be that mobilizer, okay? So what is my strategy occupying this office? The people that will be elected I'm really vouching for Team Hybrid. That is a team that brings in those who have been tested, and now we are placing them in areas where they fit with their skills and experiences, bringing a new team who knows what needs to be done from elsewhere and also in the places, and a new entrance into the workforce, that is also the CT category, as my friend puts it. So what I'm going to bring that consultative engagement. When we are going to write CBAs, collective bargaining agreement, this information must come from the members. So I'm going to use that office as a mobilizer, because job description want a mobilizer to extract this information from the people. Get it, we analyze, we synthesize that information, we put a document so that it is not something new. If it is not new to the members, they will not be asking a lot of questions all the time. What is the content? Once that is done, it's written, it is presented to the members in a place like this, so they know its content before it is delivered to the management for consideration for negotiations. The moment it reaches negotiations, then comes that is binding, that is disclosure cannot be there. But let that information originate from the members, and that is what I'm bringing on board, mobilizing members, getting this information as I've done before, reaching out to members in various engagements. We can have also strengthening relations. This can be a link with the members, and also other like-minded entities like KUSU and KUDEA. There's no way management can or government can divide us, yet we work for the same employer. So reaching out to this, mobilization for sustainable inclusion of members in Masters Union also falls in that. So with this, I want just to mention that we have a vibrant welfare in our school where I chair, so I'm not coming from out of context. At the same time, we know that I acted as the strike defense force in 2016, 2017 when we were doing this. So already, I was already mobilizing people for this. Otherwise, I'll leave it at that. I'll get some point to continue. So Job Onyango for organizing secretary.
Thank you so much, Job. Let's give a round of applause to the Okay, now the panelists would, oh no, you're not, the moderators would ask questions to both and then you respond after. So Dr. Tabitha, please go first.
Good afternoon. I have a question. Dr. Wasika. Up. I have a question for you from a member who wants to know whether you belong into any campaign team or camp. And if you belong to any camp, first that one is a yes and no. And then the second question would be, supposing you find yourself elected with members of the camp you were opposing, would this be a challenge in delivering your promises? That is one question in two. And then another question is, do you think the outgoing secretary did not do his or her work well? If yes, then that's okay. If no, what would you do differently
Okay, Daktari, please note those down. We will come back to you with the responses. The second questions to Onyango, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, aspirants, for honoring this invitation and for the presentations you have done so far. I'm also raising for you questions that have reached us from your members who are now your voters. These questions are directed to Dr. Onyango. What are the challenges, personal or otherwise, you are likely to face in implementations of your strategy, stroke plan in this office? How do you plan to navigate these challenges to deliver your promises? But there is one question that I think maybe you can again revisit. According to you, what are the major challenges? The major challenges affecting UASU members in TUK. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Dr. Asike, please, could you respond? You have like 5 minutes to respond.
Question 1. Do I belong to a camp? Yes, I do. And that doesn't mean anything. After all, you must have a vehicle to propel you, isn't it? So yes, I am in the team change. When elected, if elected on the team change, I don't know if you are going to vote the team, but I expect that you are going to vote as individuals. And therefore we shall have people from, they are calling themselves hybrid, and the others are calling themselves independent, and others are team change. All those groups are going to give in people. There will be somebody elected on team change, another one. And therefore, the team that we are going to have will be a mixture, which I like. We are saying, and I think you can go back, that a good leader embraces teamwork. As an organizing secretary, I am not working alone. I have my boss as SG, and I have chairman, and I have the others. And therefore, whether you are, I think, and you know this in the background, that the teams actually end on the election day, I think even today. And therefore, we shall go in as individuals, and as individuals, we shall embrace teamwork. That is what I bring. That is what I have been made of from my background. I am a team player. What I do differently, that I think the outgoing SG did not do, I don't even want to say he did it wrongly. We did not feel his bit. Maybe he did know that the organizing secretary, my sweetheart here has mentioned it. It is the only chair that does not have an assistant. And therefore, you are not expecting that an assistant is going to work for you the way we would see one or two. Yes? And therefore, we need to be seen, visible, in our kind of job that we do. How do you mobilize members if you are not visible? How do you even communicate to a member that does not even know you? And therefore, what I do differently here, I will just mention them, is ensuring that communication from the members and the other stakeholders and the UASU team, we call it the executive, which I belong, will be done well. The meetings will be done in an organized manner. Organizing sector, that is our work. Even just introducing the SG, even just introducing the members and any other person is the work of the organizing secretary. That you can be sure was not done the other day. It will be done now, from today. When Wasike is elected as an organizing secretary. The CBA, I will finish. That information that we never had, my friend here mentioned it. I think we work together, the head works together because we know what we are looking for. That information in the CBA comes from these members. And therefore, when we go and ask this time we were fighting, what is in the CBA? The members will not have the questions to ask. They would have participated and given us that information. That is what will be done differently.
Thank you so much for the passion in your work. Dr. Wanyango, please. 5 minutes.
Yeah. I have 3 questions. First, let me mention that thank you for stressing my point that my effort will be to get those CB ideas. Thank you for pushing that. And members, now you know that there is plagiarism at some point. Challenges, personal or otherwise, that I can face in implementing my 5-point agenda I talked about. First, let me say that I have no personal challenges. Those that are otherwise is that should I get a team that not from my hybrid team, that can be that I still don't know how they are, what their aspirations are. Some may be saying change, yet it's just change of faces in office, and maybe their ideas might be different. So, how am I going to go about these challenges? I am a team player. I know how to move on the ground and talk with the people. Because that role of organization, I will organize, I can make sure that this team gels together. Whoever will be at the chair and secretary general, we will work as a team. I can know how to navigate all these hurdles so that the team delivers. The key point is delivery. And that will be my first item number 1. Whoever we come into the office, we work so that we blend our manifestos, whatever we come up with that we want to do. Let people also contribute to it that this is now what we want to do, because mobilization and working as a team will deliver. Now, the third question the Prof asked is the challenges affecting UASU members. This I mentioned in my first statement. There are many, but key among them, we have gratuity that's affecting our tutorial fellows, affecting our graduate assistants, that at the end of their contract, this amount is never paid. That is a big problem. Healthcare. We don't have a proper health care that you get, you buy medicines, then you go trying to buy and then you go and claim, or you get to hospital and claim. That's a problem to members of academic staff. We have FTAC non-payment. It's a big problem. Statutory remittances, none of UASU members and in general university staff in TUK are tax compliant, because when it is remitted late. In most cases, not remitted, it's in arrears. So those are some of the problems that are dogging the university staff. So there are many. I could go on and on and on, but I know time may not be on my side.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. You were asked like 3 questions. She was asked 2. Would you like to respond to any question that maybe she was asked and you feel passionately that you'd like to address it? Dr. Asike, you too. Would you like to address any of the questions that he was asked?
You know, I can maybe just challenges to face.
How? Yeah.
Which I think I have explained
all right. Okay.
in my camp or not.
Okay. All right.
And, yes, and I am saying
all right.
that it is true that the office that is going on inside the UASU office is going to be blended. That is true.
Okay.
The people who have been, for instance, in the hybrid, they are those that have worked, and they will be re-elected. Those of us who are coming in will be new and others. And therefore, it will be a teamwork. When we go to the office, there is nothing like, now you do what? It is teamwork. Okay. And that is why we are saying the teamwork comes with a lot of it. Because we are saying teamwork will be all-inclusive. In our team change, we have people who are TS, we have people who are TFs, we have professors, we have mamas, we have older and the youngest.
Okay.
With those blended,
all right.
They are coming from different backgrounds.
Okay.
I think we shall work.
Okay, thank you. You have had her cocktail of the people in her team. Dr. Onyango?
Yes.
Yeah. You? Okay. It's okay. I wanted each to have their own number there.
Oh, okay.
Sanitize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's good that it looks like we are speaking the same language, because my manifesto has been out. It's a public document. So I think it must have been accessed. That's why you see that we have coincident that we are talking the same language. I've not seen my opponent, so maybe it is hidden somewhere. So, 2 questions. I am in a team called Hybrid Camp. That camp is made up of those who have been office and have garnered a lot of experience, very useful ones. We have new entrants. Some have been actually the outgoing office in other unions before they came to UASU. We have those who are in the contract category. In fact, all our delegates are graduate assistants and TFs, because we need to start developing, growing them into the unionism, and that is key, so that when others leave, we have those who have learned the ropes to take over the mantle and take this union to greater heights. So that is key. That's why I don't want all new, because otherwise we'll be going back to start fresh. We don't want to start afresh. We want those who are in to mentor those who are in, and the new guys and the old people who have been in the union bring all this agenda so that we fast track issues. Now, the other question is, if I get elected with members who will be elected not from my team, how will I navigate that? As I've mentioned, it's that I really look forward to engaging with those new people, those new teams, because of mobilization. I'm a team player, as I've mentioned that, and if those who are in the audience will attest to that, would say, and that is because even in my department, the coordinator of outreach events that we do. In fact, some of you, if you are in the UASU forum, you must have seen what we did in November. Amid COVID restrictions, we organized a retirement luncheon for one of our colleagues who retired. And we did quite a good send-off, giving her a very prestigious present. So I can mobilize, I can organize a team, and then work with whoever will be elected. And we are looking forward to going in as a team, and I know you will vote for us. I really request that you vote for my team. But then in the event it doesn't happen, I will work with the team that you will give us. Give us that chance. Thank you.
Okay, that is amazing. Round of applause. Okay, I'll take 3 questions from the floor. Anyone? No one? I don't know what that means. Maybe moderators, are there people online who are asking questions? Oh, there's a question too, actually. No, walk with the other one. I'll give you this. All right.
Thank you so much, moderator and members of this session. Yeah, thank you so much. Question. We seem to be having 3 teams that are aspiring to get to office to champion the welfare of UASU members. And I'm here just to reiterate one thing to these 3 teams, that what unites us is the fight for the welfare of UASU members. So whether you are in team change, team hybrid, whatever, when you get to office, I beseech you that you have no alternative other than working as one team, because you are united by that goal, the goal of fighting for the welfare of the teachers, of the lecturers. So that's my comment. Thank you so much.
Okay, somebody else?
This is a general question, probably to be answered by either of the contestants. The challenge around implementation of the CBA has always been the transition from signing of the CBA to implementation. That in our chapter does not have an assistant. So in terms of discharging mandates of that office, it doesn't have an assistant or a deputy. What historical aspects are you as individuals bringing in this office that will help whichever office comes in place in ensuring that when the time comes for pushing for transition between registration and implementation of the CBA is not compromised?
Thank you so much. Contestants, one more, somebody on the floor? In case I can see you. All right, contestants, would you please respond to the one question asked by the gentleman? Sorry? Go first, Dr.
Thank you, thank you. That's a very important point, because all of us want to benefit from CBA. The transition from signing to implementation of a CBA. Historically, we've seen that if we take a step back before we go even into signing, start of negotiation is normally dragging. The management are never easy to start that negotiation. The moment they negotiate, it takes time before they sign it. Then implementation is another issue. So that is where the office of the organizing secretary works closely with the team to mobilize, to rally the members, to question the management. What is happening? Right? So that can be, if all things fail, that they are not able to, then we might be forced to go into industrial action, right? So that is where we need to be. Now, if we are far away from the members, as was with the previous, because that office was doing a little, then we will fail. So that is why we want active working with the members, so that when we call industrial action, we go there. Now, historically, I have been on record, and I don't shy away from saying that I have led Strike Defense Force. So I will go further into working with the members such that we get it in time through our efforts, through petitions, through strikes, through picketing. So I'll not fear going further beyond that. Thank you, and I look forward to your vote.
Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Asike, please.
On my part, the skill I bring on table as an organizing secretary is coming from my background as a supply chain guru. It has all it takes to give me the skills of negotiations. I have seen the CBA of 2013 drag its feet, and most of us did not see it as a problem of the members. What we lacked was the communication from the office to the members. And what it was is inakuwa signed kesho, inakuwa signed next week. And we never had any footprints. As an organizing secretary, the communication bit ensures that when there is delay, when there is roadblocks on the way in the negotiation function, the members are aware. We missed it in the other one because we had only the AGM, one meeting every year. And every year for 12 years, we were CBA 2013 and 2017. It has only come on table, and it is in the words. It was signed 2 weeks ago, 2021. We understand the problems that some of us have gone through as negotiators. It is not an easy game. And that is why we are saying the team change. It may have very new fellows. You may have been in the office for as many years as you think you are, but you have not done well. Let's bring in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new brains and new experiences from out. That was the narrative. To make sure that the implementation, the signing, the negotiations are fast-tracked because of the brain, the skill that we bring on to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wasike. A round of applause. Okay, listening to these two, we are confused. The audiences are confused as to whom they give their vote. So, can you, Dr. Onyango, may you please ask Dr. Wasike a question, and she will also ask you one question. This would sell you more.
Do you want a question from me? Yes, I think you are confused. That is okay, because this is the source of the information. So now you know where it's coming from, right? So you can vote for the author.
Okay.
Yes, the question I have is, in 2016, immediately after our election, my competitor here had two things which I want to raise, and maybe she will have to say. She went to court to object to elections, and then she withdrew. What made you withdraw the case? Secondly, we had a strike after the national CBA 2013-2017, and she did not participate in that. And she can attest, I removed her in class during the strike. So what has changed that now you want to organize people for a strike, yet that time you went to class to sabotage the strike?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Wasike.
You know, I'm a very smart lady. I have good brains and good personality. I have to keep my face. I have good brains. I don't need to read. To come and read my speech. You can see that. You know, when a whole dog sits here to say he removed me from class, which is not true, you know, that has been going around. That you are actually going to talk about something that you cannot prove. I am a dire UASU supporter. Ask my school. And that is why they are voting in Wasike 100%. Me, mtoto ya Wasike, to go to class when they have called for a strike. Secretary General, can you say that? He can say that. I am passionate about my work. And I will not talk negative. But there is not much we can expect from a scientist to come and organize us. Let him just work from the peripherals. And he's very active also. But in the work of the organizing sector, you can even see, if we went into vote, sweetheart, you will be surprised. Yes, but I have to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to ask you a question.
Why not yet?
Ask my sweetheart here.
Oh, you had two questions?
Which one now?
Withdrew the case from the court?
I withdrew the case from the court. That indicates the passion in me. Because the case was stalling the process of making the office move into place, and it was out of my passion Sweetheart, and they have moved with a narrative, which I think the two of you will vote for me. These are the people. And I said, because I love what UASU would do for the members, I withdraw. I did that out of goodwill. Sweetheart, if you had any motive to use that to work against myself, I'm sorry, you won't find me.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
ask
so
him
much.
a
Ask
question.
him a question.
You know, I see him talk a lot sometimes. He's my friend, and we. I saw something that you said. You removed the lecturers from the office. I mean, from class during a strike. But he worked under an amorphous form of organization, not under UASU, manifestos and a constitution. Do you want to put this man, I call him hooliganism. We have better ways of doing that. I am a better person to speak to a lecturer and say we are on strike, we are going slow, but I will not pull him out. Does that make you a better leader than myself?
Yeah, go ahead, Doctor. Yes, go ahead. Yes?
Yes, let me respond to the question that my sweetheart has asked. Now that I'm a sweetheart, getting people out of class was necessary at the time because industrial action called for that. Other mechanisms failed. That group was to assist push the management into doing the needful. So I know she can refuse to accept because this is being recorded and she wants to look good, and she knows deep in her heart what happened. I was with a few colleagues, one of them has now left TUK. So it was not an amorphous group, it was a group of teaching staff who was passionate in seeing the success in payment of the CBA, National CBA 2013-2017. Were it not for that strike, maybe it would still be dragging. And that effort was all across, it was in TUK, it was everywhere. So I wonder if you as organizing secretary will be able to mobilize anyone if you have some reservations. So members, think about whom you want to get to organize, mobilize, and be a team player in the organization of events, because that is a job description of organizing secretary. Unless you want us to strike it out of the job description. Tell us.
You know you have to carry what you have written.
Okay, a round of applause to the... Okay, it's very interesting that now the members of the audience and those online have to unpack the difference between passion and hooliganism. We need to understand that. Okay, so we just want to wrap up this session so that we can go to the last session of the day. And I'd like to give each of the contestants 5 minutes to give their parting shots. You could answer a question you were asked, you could say something that you forgot, or just say, Viva, vote for me. Thank you. We'll start with you, Dr. Asiki.
I cannot see a new face that is sitting in front of me and listening to me. The way I am, this is typical Dr. Wasike character. Transparent, consultative, and if need be, I can be also very confrontational. which I am saying it doesn't have to take us that far. I'll use the diplomacy in me, the skill that you have all seen here, and the passion in me to make the right choice, voting Dr. Wasike for organizing secretary, voting the lady, voting your best option, Dr. Wasike, for organizing secretary.
As the campaigns have been going on, I, Joab Otieno Nyango, present myself for the position of organizing secretary. This office is hands-on. Need somebody who is on the ground, somebody who is already doing something, somebody who is light at reaching places, every corner of this university, and knowing what is here and there. So this is not only on physical encounters, but also active in engaging those who may not be physically there online. Because information has to reach wherever it needs to be, regardless. So I plead with you, gallant soldiers, members of UASU, vote in somebody whom you will feel on the ground. Don't gamble. Take your time, vote wisely. Joab Otieno Onyango, Organizing Secretary, 28th January 2021.
Okay, I would like to appreciate the panel, Dr. Wasike, for showing us what girl power really is and representing the women. I didn't say I'm voting for her, I'm a woman. She's representing us here. All right, Dr. Onyango, for the spirit of motivation that you have been doing over the years and you have expressed it here, we thank you also for that. And for the and for the very lovely audience, I'd like to thank you. Those online, I thank you for your questions that you've sent us. We really appreciate. Vote wisely. Have a lovely evening.
Good afternoon once more. We want to call the meeting to order. We want to call the meeting to order. And I want to thank you, Joab, Dr. Joab and Dr. Wasike. I think you have done us good this afternoon. It was a very healthy discussion. I think people have really enjoyed your debate. I want to do a quick recap of what we have done today. The contestants for today, we started with the office of the chapter secretary, for which Led J told us that it was the position for chapter secretary and not secretary general. And the people who were here with us today was Peter Gidinchi and Jacob Musembi, and Dr. Patricio Giro was absent. For the position of, the second session was for the position of Secretary General, and we had the following candidates. We had Okaron Dick, we had Dr. Jacinda Kimuyu, and Sawenja Fred Wanyonyi. Dr. Julius Bosile was missing. Then we have done this afternoon session, which we had 3 candidates vying for the position of organizing secretary, which has just ended now. And we had Dr. Judith Nelima Wasike, who was present. We had Dr. Joab Otieno Onyango, who was present, and James Maina Diongo was missing. Now we are going to the last session, and that is the session for the position of treasurer. I think this is a very sensitive docket, and we welcome you to come and join us, those who are vying for this position, and they are here with us this afternoon. We have the people vying for this, contestants vying for this. One is Grace Gatere Jerry. Number 2 is Peter Wanchao, G. Wanchao. And the last but not the least is Dr. Wycliffe Kipkoech. Please let us be seated. Let us be seated. Yeah, thank you for being with us this afternoon. Again, the format is just as it has been since morning. We are going to give each contestant 10 minutes to sell their agendas or manifestos. And after which we will come to the moderators. And I think we will have 2 moderators because we can only see 2 contestants, to ask each of the contestants 2 questions each. And again, I repeat that these questions were sent to us by members. After which, we will now go to the floor. We will have 3 questions from the floor, asking them questions, which will take a maximum of 10 minutes for each candidate again. And then we will go to the 4th session where each candidate is supposed to ask the other question or to raise issues to the person that they are contesting with. And then last but not the least, we will be hearing the closing remarks from the candidates. And now I welcome you to take over. I think I will ask the lady like me, Grace, to start. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Grace Njeri Gatere. I am vying for the position of treasurer, who is basically the chief financial officer of the union. I carry with me the blessing of experience. Some people like to call it the baggage of incumbency, but I want to call it the blessing of experience. I have been a trustee in the union for 1 term, 5 years, and I have served as a deputy chapter secretary for 5 years. That position of deputy chapter secretary is really what has helped me understand a lot of union issues and how to run them. I played a very big part in the activities of the union. Like you have heard, the people who have just left, there was some sort of vacancy in the organizing secretary bit in our office, the one that is outgoing. So a lot of the work that I did was work of the organizing secretary, and some of it now the work that I'm supposed to be doing as a deputy chapter secretary. I have 4 things that I would like to do when elected, and if you find favor and elect me. If you select a chapter secretary who resonates with my thinking and an organizing secretary who also resonates with how I think, you will make my work easier, because all I have to do is support the activities that they intend to run. One of the things, as I have realized with members, is that people don't have the right information. So I want to support every education activity that the organizing secretary may organize for the members. I want to support and train the delegates, the 20 of them who will be elected and nominated. Because when you have trained delegates, it becomes easier to run the union. We will not have some sort of mess as we did in the past. Then the other thing, I want to support a lot of the activities that especially Joab was talking about. I'm saying Joab because we're the same team and we have the same type of thinking. When we have maybe every 2 months town hall meetings to discuss with members so that we can be able to understand their issues. It will be good if we just probably hired a hall and bought water or Fanta, like everybody likes to diss Fanta. And it will, it motivates members to see that this is how our money is being used. And we talk about the issues that are affecting each and every one of us. The other thing is I'm moving from, not moving, but I will call it promotion. I want you to promote me to be the treasurer, because I saw that there was a gap in record keeping. Something that I really managed to do well as a deputy chapter secretary. Even if people will say there's no register, the register exists. There are no records of members. Those things exist. It's just that people don't come to look for them, even when you ask them to come. So that gap, I saw it, and I know how, I think I have an idea of how we can possibly close the gap in record keeping by using digital tools, especially now in this Corona era. We can use Sage or QuickBooks to ensure that we have our records straight. And then this will reduce that issue of, does the institution owe you 53 million or 47 or 39 million? It becomes easier to track your records if you use a digital to track your expenses. How much money did I withdraw and for what activity? If you just enter it into Excel or Sage or QuickBooks, it's not that hard to track expenses that way. Then this way, at the end of the year, we don't have this problem of how much money have you spent over the year, what have you used it for. Then I said I wanted to do 4 things. The other thing, as Team Hybrid, we want to do is to transform or change the constitution so that we can be able to free up union finances. Because I would really like for us to own a bus. When we were in Mombasa in December, one of the things the treasurer was talking about, the national treasurer, is that it would be good if we rebranded the union. And that even if we just look good, people may take us differently. So if we could have to go, because TUK does not provide buses if somebody loses a parent or a sister, but if the union has a bus and you can hire it, we can also increase our income as an institution. But that can only happen subject to changing the constitution to avoid a lot of, yeah, I think I've finished.
Thank you, Grace. I think you are quite on time, and we are glad that you have advanced your agenda. And now we call the next candidate. It's Dr. Wycliffe. Please advance your manifesto.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Dr. Dr. Cheriot Koech. So I'm vying for the position of the treasurer, UASU. So first of all, who is this Cheriot? So I am a mathematician. I teach mathematics in the School of Mathematics, specialist in statistics. So also in my earlier days in undergraduate, around 2005, I did CPA Part 1. So I have knowledge in financial accounting, economics, taxation. So if you talk anything about taxation, I have it here. If you talk something about cost accounting, I have them. So my experience, my first employment, in fact, I was employed by the CPA Part 1, not my degree. So I was employed by going somewhere where I was earning 15,000. That was in 2007. So that is where I was exposed to softwares like QuickBooks and Sage. So coming to this point here, I normally call myself a leader. I'm not a politician. So I will be able to handle the issues pertaining to UASU as through my leadership. So I have been appointed in several organizations. I'm a board member of several schools, so I know how organization is run. First of all, what I want to bring in this UASU, I've been here for the last, I think, almost 4 years now. So what I've seen, in Kenya we have Constitution 2010. So Constitution 2010 envisages that we have what we call public participation. And I've never seen what we call public participation in this university through UASU. So my first thing is to make sure that everything that we do in that particular office, we subject it to public participation. Secondly, I will talk about taxation. So when you check at your payslip like this, you will see how we are being taxed. I normally call it double taxation. You are taxed on your pension contribution, at the same time taxed on your pension income. So we want to remove this anomaly. The other day I was in Kenya Revenue Authority to inquire about it. So the law, the Income Tax Act 2015 says that all our pension should not be subjected to tax up to 20,000. Personally, I contribute around 8,000 monthly. So the case must be your gross income less your pension, and then you tax what is remaining. So we want to make sure that this anomaly is removed. And to make sure that this one, if at all, our pension is registered in a non-retirement benefit scheme, which is known to KRA. So we are going to make sure we get our refund, because we are paying more to KRA, which is not supposed to be done like that. So that is the first thing. Secondly, on taxation. So if I will be elected in this position, I'll push the management to make sure that our payee is remitted to KRA in time, so that individual ledger reconciliation is done in time. We have a lot of problem when we want to seek for Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So we normally want to have what we call tax compliance. But when you go to KRA, they will not give you tax compliance because our remittance are not in the KRA system. So we want to make sure we push that one to be done, so that we do not experience such problem from this type. Secondly, we have a lot of problems in this university. If I can list problems like this, they are enormous. But I will just dwell on finances. The first thing that I've seen, we are contributing a lot of money in this university, our 2% is going up to millions. But we have not seen the benefit, direct benefit to our members. So we want to make sure we see what is benefiting us directly. If you read that the UASU Constitution, it normally talks about the legal services, all those things which I don't know, because in the last 5 years, I don't know how much we spend in the legal services. So we want to make sure, if at all, we change this constitution so that we can have direct benefits to our members. As you know, the constitution is not meant for us, isn't it? So we have to change the constitution so that it can fit our members. So we want to make sure we have services like even organizing conferences here, scientific conferences. That one can be seen directly benefiting our contributors. Because I cannot say right now, if at all, in the last 5 years we have collected millions, and if we are told now to explain where they went, we don't know. So we want to make sure the constitution is changed, because it is not serving us well. Secondly, I don't want to mention all those things which have been mentioned by other people, like medical insurance and pension. So on our pension, we want to make sure it is registered if it is not registered, because I have heard some people saying it is now registered in a recognized retirement benefit scheme. So we want to ensure it is registered as soon as possible. I think I'm up to there. I can stop for now. Maybe.
Perhaps you should have just completed the statement you were saying. I'll give you a second because you were saying something.
Which statement?
What you are saying, are you done?
Yes, I'm saying I'm done by now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Members, I want to urge you, wherever you are, to keep on tuning, because I think we are getting very good information that will enable you to vote wisely. And that's why we have this debate. I want to welcome the moderators to ask the two candidates 2 questions each. And I'm going to invite Dr. Geoffrey to ask the questions he has from the members. Then after that, we'll ask Dr. Joyce to ask questions as indicated by members.
All right, thank you very much. There are 2 questions here. I know you already touched on this issue of gap in record keeping. Now that you know there's a perception in terms of your previous role and this issue of having a gap in record keeping, how are you going to address this going forward now that Treasury also involves keeping some records? That's the first question. Then the second one is very brief. For this position, what experience do you bring? Yeah, that is
That was for Grace.
Yes.
And for Dr. Wycliffe, we will have Dr. Joyce ask you questions. And then once we are done, you can respond to the questions. We can start with you, Grace, to respond because you are the first one. After Joyce has asked Dr. Wycliffe his questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Wycliffe, for your presentation. I have 2 questions from the members. You're talking about your experience and you are coming in as a leader, and you said you went to KRA. So, and while at KRA, you realized that some money has not been remitted, and you promised members that you will ensure that we get the refund. How will you do that? That's the first question. Then the second question is, with the experience that you have, we're thinking about if you're to get votes, so how will your office what will you do in your office so that, for example, the transport money since 2013 has not been paid. So they are asking about also gratuities, about the internal CBA that is yet to be spoken about. What are you going to do about this and how?
Can we have you, Chris, respond to the questions that the members have asked you?
Okay. I think I should start with question number 2. That's the easy question. What experience do I bring? I have been in the negotiations committees over the years, so I have understood how to deal with certain union issues. I have learned that especially CBA negotiation issues, they are a process, and if you try and skip one process, you have to go back. I have learned leadership skills and a lot how to be extremely tolerant to people and their issues. And then, and most importantly, between 2008 and 2010, I did a course offered by CASNEP. It's called Certified Investment and Financial Analyst. My number is FA0045. You can check on their website. So yes, I have a lot of financial analysis knowledge. So that's one thing that I have. Then the second question you asked about gap in record keeping. That I perceive that is there or was there in the previous Treasury docket, and how we intend to close the gap. A lot of records, when you would ask for them, they would not be available. So when, for example, you pay for rent, I intend that I enter the amount of money in the voucher number or the invoice number onto any software, even just basic Excel. And if it is receipts for purchases of any item that shall be used in the office or for any activities that will be undertaken by members, I'll just enter into the system. Then it becomes easy to follow up how the money has been spent in a year. And perhaps if the constitution is changed, we can have, is it by annual? No, every 3 months, or half-year reports, if the constitution allows it. So that instead of just having at the end of the year, we come and these are the audited books of accounts by the auditor who has been appointed by the national office. This is how it looks. Then people have so many questions that cannot be answered in one meeting, and also get ideas from members on how they think we should spend their money, the 2%, for as we run the union activities during the year.
Thank you, Chris. A round of applause for Chris. And now, Dr. Whitley.
Okay, so the first question was on refund, isn't it? So if you look at the Income Tax Act 2015, so we have something called tax relief. So we are supposed to be given, by law, we are supposed to be given tax relief on our pension contribution. So now that if at all what they are collecting here is going to carry, definitely we are going to be refunded what we overpaid. So there is no question about that because it is a law itself. So once we follow the law, we remit all we have collected here from our members, then I know we'll be refunded. On the second question on how this on how management will be able to, was it about the remittance? You know, I don't write, I don't have anything to write here. So once I normally say unionism is not about individual. So I will work with the team to make sure our gratuity is paid in time, to make sure our refund is given, to make sure our hospital refunds are given in time. So we are going to work as a team. I'm not going to say I will work individually to make sure we are refunded what we are supposed to be refunded in case of transport or gratuity and so on. We are going to work as a team and push the management to make sure all the payments are done in time. So we don't want to see a case whereby somebody who applied for refund in 2017 is not paid up to this time, and somebody who applied yesterday is being paid. So we want to make sure all the previous refunds, starting from the whole list, is paid. So we want to have a situation where we take a given direction, not just anyhow, where if you are known, you are given your refund, and if you are not known, you are not given. So that is what we envisage to do to our members.
We can give him the platform. Now we want to welcome the floor. We want to have questions from you. I can see already hands are raised. You can pass over the mic to them. Yeah, we can have the first question from Lady J, Dr. Jacinda Kimuyu. And the second question, I think we can accept 3 questions. After all, it's the last session. We will allow Fred Sawencha to ask the candidates a question. And Wafula will be, is there someone else? Oh, we will allow these 4 questions as we go. Wafula, you will be the 3rd person to ask your question. Who else? Dr. Wasike, you will be the 4th person to close up the questions from the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our aspiring treasurers. The ladies will do so much work for me, but I'll persevere. I cannot see Grace now. But my first question goes to Grace Gateri. You talked about if we can use the union finances to buy a bus, which can be or used to members, for example, as extension of support. And then you talked about they can hire to use that bus if I had you right to raise some income. Now that income piece is where I come in. Because we have been hearing the narrative of the union accounts should read 0 by 31st December. And now you are talking about raising income. What is the position? Because I'm hearing double speech from you is belonging to the outgoing office, which has been telling members that the union account should read 0. My question to Daktari, the aspiring treasurer also. I don't want to dig into the issues which we can engage once somebody is elected, but you just mentioned that you don't write. We know bookkeeping, being a treasurer, it's all about writing. Actually, I happened to run a survey camp one time, and I walked with a pen and a booklet wherever I went, because I'm carrying public money. I should account for it. We know our memory can fail us. And I kept on writing, even when I give a student like 20 for buy Canada, because I know I'll account for it. I used to put it down somewhere. It raised my concern when you said you don't write, if I had you right. Thank you.
I have several questions. Maybe I will ask 1 or 2. And I go to Grace.
Please ask 1.
Very important one.
Yes.
Grace, you have been in the office for 12 years as a trustee and as a secretary assistant. Secretary General Deputy. And now you want to be a treasurer. In the books of accounts that you gave us in the AGM, which you have still mentioned yourself, that there were a lot of gaps. Yet you are in the office with the good brains that you have. Why did you help the treasurer to give the members a better report? One, in the books of accounts that you gave at AGM, you gave us 130,000 for website, which you do it yourself. And you never broke down to tell us how the 130 would be accounted for or was accounted for. Would you tell us what you are now going to do differently from what you gave us in the 12 years, because you worked as a team?
Pass it to Mr. Sawenja.
Mine is a question of constitution of UASU and finances, as well as the relevant provision of the labor laws. And I want to ask both of you, because I hope that now you are writing, even if it is on the white piece of cloth. Which is the one most frustrating piece of labor law that does not allow a union to be able to use their finances in the manner the members would wish that it is done?
Thank you. Pass it over.
Thank you. I think my question will add on what Mr. Sawenja has asked, which was actually, my question will go further about the Labor Relations Act and our own union constitution and how we use our finances. I'm imagining both the competitors or contestants have an idea about that. He asked which is the one which is difficult, which basically impedes the office from achieving its objectives. So in light of that, I would wish, because both of you have said you'll do a lot of things, what's this possible that you're going to do to cause that change to happen? That you'll be able actually to work within those two regulations, or the 2 or 3 regulations, both the UASU Constitution and the Labor Relations Act, and the position of the Treasurer as according to the provision in the Treasurer, to be able to go around that and deliver to the members exactly what you think is innovative. And secondly, and I think it's just a comment for Dr. Cheriot, a lot of the things you say you do look like the things which are going to be done by the administration's accountants. And so I don't know whether you'll be doing it for the union or in the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, members, for those serious questions. When we were starting this session, I remember I said this is a very sensitive docket, and now you can bear with us for the more questions that have been asked. And I think I'll ask the contestants to answer the questions in 5 minutes, both general and specific questions that have been asked by the members. Can we start with you, Grace?
Sure. Let me start with the question that Dr. Jacinta asked, that I want to buy a bus for welfare that may, in the long run, act as a source of income for the union. I also said that we would like to have a change in the constitution, because that constitution is the one that says that you can buy immovable goods. you can buy and even you can do investments, but you have to be subjected to approval by the NDC. So if we change that particular part of our constitution, it becomes easier. About income, well, there's two things we can do. We can just allow people to hire the bus without giving us any income because of what the Labor Relations Act talks about, how income for union activities, or yeah, either we can give them for free or we can institute change in some of those laws. Now, then the other thing is I was a trustee and a deputy chapter secretary. Why didn't I help the treasurer? In fact, we really helped the treasurer give the report. If you know, somebody's presentation cannot be used against another person's understanding of issues. We did the best we could to help her prepare for that, for presenting that, the budget and the report as a whole, as members of the finance committee. So we did our best. Whatever happened at the AGM, I really don't know. Maybe just she had eye problems. Then, about the website, you said it was 130,000 shillings and you said that I am the one that runs the website. I don't even know how to create a website. And it was not even my, maybe it's because I was made to explain how we are going to use the 130,000 for the website. It was this year from January to December. We need the website to be maintained from virus attacks, and the company that we have chosen to assist us have their own charges, monthly charges that you are supposed to pay quarterly. So that is what was included in this cost of the website, the annual fee for this year, plus now initial setting up fees of the website. And I don't run the website. I'm the one who just contacts the person who updates information onto the website. The one labor law, to be honest, I don't remember. And yeah, yes.
How are you? I mean, it is actually, it's difficult.
Can we give him a mic so that he can voice his concern? I want to repeat, this is a sensitive docket, so we welcome questions.
Basically, the point is that the labor regulations in the Labor Relations Act and then in our union constitution, and the role which is prescribed for the treasurers is restrictive on how the funds of the union can be used. It's very, very restrictive. So in the course, of course, both of you have said there's a possibility that we'll be able to change the constitution. That will not happen overnight. If the elections go on successfully on Thursday, one of you will be in the office almost immediately, and therefore you'll have to work under the current arrangement. So what is the innovative way that you're going to go about this kind of regulation which is already in place, which will not be changed when you're in the office immediately, and be able to deliver to the members the expectations, which are significantly constricted? Like Jacinta said, the regulations say zero balance, yet the members keep saying we need things like benevolent fund, we need all these kind of things. What innovative way do you folks look about it?
I think now we can go on to Dr. Wycliffe, bearing in mind whatever other issues are being raised, you can also respond to.
Yeah, okay. So the first question was on, somebody was asking about the writing, and now I've been given a paper, so I can write now. But in terms of handling cash, be able to write. You know, you cannot joke with money. You have to indicate. So on constitution, we know a union is not supposed to be a profit-making venture. And we also know constitution is there to serve us, not us to serve the constitution. If we think this constitution is not serving us, then we have to change. And we are going to lobby. We are going to lobby so that this thing can be changed and be able to serve us well. So we have to lobby with the national office, that is UASU, so that we can see the essence of changing it. Because if all of us here can say we want to change this constitution, then we will be against that. Once the members agree that we need to change, we need to speak in one voice, then we'll be able to change it. On a particular act in the constitution which hinders the labor rules, the labor laws, and the UASU constitution, I don't know. In that case, I'm not a lawyer, so I may not be able to answer you at this particular time. But when times come, when I will check, I will be able to answer you. On administration, somebody said that what I'm saying, it seems like it is administrative work. But you have not given me an example in particular, say this one is administrative. So the work or the function of the union is to make sure the administration performs its duties properly. So if administration is not remitting our taxes to KRA, so it is our work as a union to make sure they remit in time. So you cannot say it is administrative. We work together with administration, together with the management, to ensure our services is done in time. So I think I've answered you, unless you want to ask another question.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we were supposed to have ended the meeting at 4 and we still have more time, a little bit of more time. We can welcome one more question or two. Yes, Dr. Jacinta.
Thank you so much for the opportunity once again. I am addressing my question to Dr. Reid. You used a relative word that once elected, you will push and make sure that all our remittances have been done. I have not even heard you talk about what is owed to the union, because it has been a bone of contention. We don't know how much. I think at this time is the time, because you talked about you've gone to KRA, and I wonder what has stopped you from also going to finance to find out what is owed to the union by the institution. And I'm finding the promise too good to be true, that you will push and make sure that all remittances will be done. We are at a level where we know institutions are broke. Let's all agree. And you cannot push beyond what can be pushed. Because I've been hearing people say we need this paid. We have seen even salary coming late. And I thank God all of us now we have become tolerant and we are waiting if it ever comes, and we are adjusting to the new normal. So how do you intend to push? Because we know money comes from elsewhere. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Jacinta. I want to welcome Jacob Musebi to ask a question, and now that will be the final question from the floor. So you are welcome.
Thank you. My question goes to Brother Dr. Cherio. You have talked about pushing, and you have talked about taxation. Would you be able to explain why the pension is not being taxed? That's question number one. That is, we don't get relief. Yes, I'm saying that you have talked about pushing, yeah? And you have alluded to the fact that you know there is a problem with the remittance of pay, and you have said you will push. Now, my question is this. Could you explain why we are having that double taxation? That's question number one. Number two, have you done due diligence to find out whether our pension scheme is registered or not? And why? Thank you.
Okay, a round of applause for the floor. You've done a good job with your questions. And now we want to welcome, I think the questions were addressed to one Dr. Wycliffe. So maybe perhaps you can take the floor and respond to the questions.
Yes, thank you. So the question on pushing. So the question on pushing, as I've said earlier, unionism is not about individual. So do not expect me as a person to push it alone. So we will work as a team to make sure these people are paying in time. So it is unfortunate that my fellow contestants are asking the same question. So you should be asking yourself, when you go in that office, how will you push it? We will push together. I'm not saying the treasurer alone will do that. Okay? Unless if you want to work alone in the union. But for me, I will make sure I work as a team.
No, you use the word high. That's why I picked it on you. I will push.
Okay.
I will make sure we push.
Oh, okay. Now you can change I to we.
I think if you want to address the contestants, you can come through the chair. Yeah, it is well. And I don't know, Dr. Wycliffe, would you like to respond to that one quickly, or you're done?
No, I'm done with the pushing.
You are done with the pushing. Thank you so much.
So the last question on
yes.
On pension. So somebody was asking why are we being taxed on pension contribution? And maybe when you retire, you will also be taxed on pension income. So there are two possibilities here. So maybe we are not aware that pension contribution is not supposed to be taxed up to 20,000. The second possibility is that maybe our pension scheme is not registered. And that one, you can find it out if you go to KRA with an employer PIN number. They will just pin it like this and they will tell you this one is not registered or it is registered. So I'm here to find out if it is registered or not. I hope I've answered you.
There's one is not answered about the reconciling the books, because he has talked about his gone area and he's not telling us whether it's gone finance.
Yes, would you like to answer that, please?
So I hope you have gone to KRA or any other cyber to apply for tax compliance. So that question arises when you want to have a tax compliance by KRA according to Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So if this reconciliation is not taken to KRA, you will not be able to get the tax compliance. So I'm saying we want to see, if possible, we get all the major reconciliation at KRA in time so that our members may not suffer when they want to get the tax compliance.
A round of applause for the candidates. I think you have done a good job, and I want to give you this opportunity to ask each other a question, if at all you have any. Grace?
I don't have any.
Dr. Wycliffe?
Grace here is, I think we school together. So I don't have a question to ask her this particular time.
Okay, I think that was a quick one. And I'm just...
I can make a comment?
let me consult with the chair. Okay, the chair for moderation team says that as long as it's a comment, not a question.
Just a comment.
Yes, yes, you're welcome. Pass.
It will just be a comment, and I think I want to say something. The treasury or treasurer is an important position, and I am specifically happy to have Dr. Cheriot, a mathematician and a statistician. Now we are able to say what is vertical and what is horizontal and why not I was underpaid.
Excuse me, Dr. Wasike, please. We are not campaigning.
No, it's just a comment. And,
no, that is not a comment. You are supporting a candidate among the two, and I don't think that is welcome in this debate. Yes. So I'm so sorry, please. You may wish to put it in the forum to support the candidate you wish, but not here. I'm so sorry to stop you. Yes, I don't know whether you are raising your hand to make a comment.
I was stretching, but I don't mind making it.
Okay, you were stretching.
Thank you, Chair. I was not here from the beginning, and I'm hearing the Treasury talking about deductions. I'll just share with them that central bank can be an agency where statutory deductions are given, that role is given to them. In that case, there's no question of anything being laid. So whoever wins can investigate the possibility of central bank taking over statutory deductions. Then they are not late, they'll be timely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind remarks. I want to give the candidates 5 minutes each to make closing remarks about their manifestos and tell the members something as to why they really are vying for these positions. Just 5 minutes. Because you say that you've been classmates. Choose among yourselves who to start and who to finish. Because I think we should call them sweethearts.
Okay, because I know 5 minutes is a lot. Let me start with something which I know members want to know about the horizontal and diagonal. You know, I've been hearing people talking about it. Most of us don't understand what is a horizontal and what is a diagonal. So I'll explain in 1 second. What is a horizontal? So this is according to our previous CBA. Horizontal is whereby all the promotions, all the annual income are freeze. Okay? And the other one is whereby we consider our annual increment and also the promotion. And that is why it was bringing a lot of problem when it comes to our previous alliance. So we wanted to have this diagonal, but the SRC did not want that because we were getting a lot of money. It was going to around 16 point something billion, but the other one is horizontal is 8 point something billion. So I hope when we'll be elected, we'll also make sure we go diagonal so that we can get our areas. On my election, I'm asking all our electorate to elect me on Thursday, 28th January 2021, so that all the services that I've mentioned can be considered in our new union. Thank you.
Is it closing remarks?
Yes.
Okay. I want to pick up something that he has talked about 16 billion. There was a ruling that was made either Monday or Friday, either this week or last week, I'm not very sure. Last week, that the court ruled that we should be paid diagonally, and that has been factored in the budget for, there's a budget for this January. So, sorry? Supplementary budget, yes, for January, and we are going to get that money, God willing. So it's not a matter of any more negotiation, the court has already ruled. So some institutional memory is good when you have worked. I said people are saying it's a baggage of incumbency, but I call it a blessing, because there are some things you would know, like if the pension scheme is registered or not, if you have trustees or not, and where the how far pension matter has gone in the institution. So I want to ask that you really think about the people who you want to vote for. I will ask you to vote for me and Team Hybrid because we are a blend. But let me ask, I may not have many words to say like the organizing secretary, the way they have been talking the whole afternoon, but people who work with numbers are basically thinkers, and that is why you can see we understand each other because we are thinkers. And I ask you to vote for me on Thursday, and we continue to transform this union and make it better. We don't want to change it, we want to make it better, because it is the reason it has attracted so much interest is because it's a good union, and in fact TUK UASU chapter is a benchmark for other universities. We try our best to benchmark with the national office. Sometimes we even go above them, but we cannot go back and look at other chapters at what they're doing, because most of the time we do things better than them, despite all the challenges that as a chapter we have. So please consider institutional memory, consider blending, yes, and vote for me, Viva.
Thank you so much, contestants. We have come to the end of our sessions, the first sessions that we have undertaken today. And I want to thank each and every one for your participation. You have made this very, very successful. I think it has become a model for other universities to follow. And I want to welcome our chair, the person who made this happen, the chair for the moderation team, that is Professor Onyango, to make the final conclusions. And last but not the least, we are going to ask our beloved sister, Dr. Wasike, to pray for us. Thank you.
Good evening, colleagues. Yeah. I would like just to request that we clap for all our participants of the day. Thank you so much. You have really done us proud. I was not here when Dr. Cheriot was being introduced. He's coming from my school, and also Gatere. Thank you for that nice presentation. Now, what I'd like to do at the moment is very simple, to make closing remarks and maybe throw a few vote of thanks. Then we come to an end. So truly I'm in a special way delighted and honored this day that we had to share amongst each other what is core, what is really close to our hearts. And with that, I would like to thank my colleagues for having made it lovely. I think this being a debate of its kind in the region, let alone in this university, we have really set a bar. And I think we shall go no other downwards, but I think in future we shall be forced to at least upscale to ensure that we have a very vibrant team, people from some specialities which are related to these positions. I had very nice comments coming from the ground, or from the floor here. So we shall really recommend that we have people of speciality to come and sit here. But I'm not saying that we didn't perform, we need to perform. So for that, I would like to thank Dr. Geoffrey, Dr. Joyce, and Dr. Tabitha for having sacrificed the whole day to be with us and at least offer members of the union an experience that can help them choose objectively. Now, the other people whom I want to thank are the people who participated in this. First of all, those people who did throw us questions, which we did air here. People who participated here by making sure that they sacrificed their time to be with us, including the streaming colleagues here. We are very thankful for having done that. Now, to members also who are watching this streaming live, I think you have benefited quite a lot from what our colleagues are giving us here. So I also thank you for sharing that moment with us. Then also in a special way, I would like to thank our VC. For us to hold this meeting here and close the classes, to shut the classes which were here the whole day, I had to write a letter to the VC. He sanctioned this meeting, and again, one thing is that he held it in very high esteem. He shared with me that it's a very special occasion that only comes once in 5 years, and for us to have made that decision to ensure that members get to choose objectively, he was finding it very, very easy to ensure that classes don't continue here. So I really thank our VC for that particular insight. It gave us a lot of insight on how to carry out this particular exercise. Then lastly, to our dear students who have helped us around. They have also sacrificed a lot in terms of their day study to be with us here and to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Now, lastly, we moderators, we were not in any team, I can assure you. And from now, we are very free to be seduced. So if you so wish to us to be in your team, you just come over here. You're very free. There are contestants who didn't get an opportunity to be here, the deputy secretary position, deputy chair, all that. I think they have benefited with the interaction. But we still take this opportunity to at least also wish them the very best. And maybe next time, the team which is going to occupy this seat will at least sacrifice some time for them to be able to articulate what they want to present to us. Now, the other thing that I would like to assure candidates who are aspiring for this position is that now we have records. We have records of your promises, and with those records, we shall judge you if you go to that office. Be aware, we shall judge you with those records, And last time we did this and there were no records. Now, with a debate which is eliciting questions, I always like finishing them with questions. There are 4 questions which are very key. They were asked by some of us, but we didn't get time to ask the candidates. If you allow me, there are only 4 for you all candidates to consider. 1, why are dons not appointed in university councils? That's a question that was raised and it is so loaded. So it's up to you to think about it in all rounds and all measures. 2, why are unions not having representation in the university senate when teachers are even having representation in the parliament? Students' unions are also having a representation in the senate. Why are our union not having representation in the senate? 3, why are tenders in government institutions not given to dons? These are things that are being asked by members. I find them so weighty, and I wanted you to think about them, especially if you will be elected, how you are going to go around them. Then lastly, besides CBA, what we have just heard today is just about CBAs. Besides CBAs, what are the other activities that this union is helping us with? Yeah? And somebody cited an example in Uganda. Sorry, not Uganda, but Tanzania. The dons in Tanzanian universities don't earn a lot. But because of very special measures, those guys, if you go to those campuses, they drive big cars like mine. Yeah? Almost all of them. I'm not bragging, eh? I'm a Suba. Subas don't brag. It's Lu also brag. I'm a Suba. Yeah. With that short story, I would like to declare the event closed. I would like to wish you all the best. And Madam Wasike, be on the microphone. Thank you so much, colleagues.
I am going to pray. I'm going to pray. Let us pray. Lord, we come before you this evening as we came in the afternoon to ask you to give us the grace and the wisdom that you have given us. We have deliberated a lot of issues as union, as members, as contestants, interested parties. We know that the wisdom that you have given unto us is going to work even in the electorate to make wise decisions. We thank you, Lord, because the atmosphere has been healthy and safe. We want to thank you because this is a new experience. And we want to thank you because we know, because you have started, it will continue being a better and better and better experience if we support it. Thank you, Jesus, for the good health you have given us. We want to thank you for our families. We want to thank you for all that is being put in the plan to enable the elections be done in a good way. We want to thank the contestants because they have treaded carefully. They are safe, they are healthy, they have the wisdom. Thank you, Lord. We want you to bless us as we go, and bless our families, and bless our elections. In Jesus' name, I pray and believe. Amen.